Time now for the markets with Leighton. And trade in the beef market, you say, is a little weak leading up to Labor Day.
That's right, Artis, but analysts are saying there are some signs of stability in the cattle sector despite that weakness. More in a moment on this. Also ahead this week, corn trades sideways for the most part now. China makes a big soybean purchase from the United States, while U.S. catfish processing and prices dip further. No fresh news has kept the corn market in somewhat of a sideways trading pattern of late. However, corn began trading slightly higher by Thursday. Analysts like Jamie Kohaki say this demonstrates there is proven support for this market when corn prices slip much below the $8 level.
There's not a whole lot of fresh news out there until the September crop report, so I think was waiting on yields, from producers come in. So I think profit taking would be the key. But I think long term there's more upside. We're going to be probably somewhere at 10.5, 10.3 crop. We're not doing a very good job of rationing yet. Ethanol numbers are good, export numbers are good, and I think longer term we'll be back higher than we are now. But short term, looking for us to get back down below 8 and run some stops out.
Meanwhile, soybean prices are giving every indication they are not done yet. On Wednesday of this past week, futures were up more than 30 cents on the day for both old and new crop. Analyst Sue Martin says in that action, the bean market was acknowledging that demand is still strong, even at near record high prices.
I believe soybeans, while they can still have another little correction here, of course, little could be 70, 80 cents, in a heartbeat. But I think we're not done yet.
Okay.
The bean market's got much higher to go.
Let's move to farm-raised catfish for our trivia quiz this week. How many of our state's catfish ponds are located in East Mississippi? Is the answer 10%, or 18%, or 24%, or as high as 33%? You'll find out here in a few more minutes. We now look at the government's monthly snapshot of the nation's farm-raised catfish industry. It indicates prices continue to slip south. These numbers reflect conditions in the month of July. The average pond bank price paid to U.S. producers was 84 cents per pound. That is down 9 cents from June and down a big whopping 40 cents per pound from a year ago. Farm sales totaled just over 25 million pounds round weight, down 6% from July 2011. Processor sales were 13.3 million pounds. That is up 4% from a year ago. Extension Ag economist Dr. John Michael Riley has been looking over those recent catfish numbers since they were released. I talked with him on Thursday morning. John Michael, pond bank prices have really continued to plunge here for catfish producers.
They have. They started the plunge as we moved into 2012, and just over the past couple of months have really taken a dip, dropping about 10% month over month. If you look at the past 2 or 3 months in terms of prices, and that's been hard pill to swallow for everybody. I know.
And of course, this kind of correlates with a rise in prices in the corn and soybean pit.
Unfortunately, right. We've seen corn prices, soybean prices grow as this drought has really taken hold of the Midwest, where most of those crops are grown. And that's when that's 60 to 70% of your total cost of production. That's when it really hurts. Is that the fact you have dropping prices at the farm gate, at the same time you've got floating feed really increasing. So that's doing a number on a number of balance sheets for our catfish producers.
And I would imagine too much fish inventory is part of that problem too.
That's part of it. I mean, when we have seen a contraction in the industry, water acres down quite a bit over the past number of years. Mississippi down 7.7% at the beginning of this year, right at 51,200 acres. So we're still the big player in the market, but we have seen a decline in water acres. With those higher prices, I think what happened is at the restaurants there was a pushback. Sales just really slowed down because of higher retail prices, and that's really caused a backlog in terms of inventories.
And of course, we still have the Asian fish problem hanging out there, the exports from Asia coming to the United States.
That's something we're always going to have to deal with. I don't know that that's something that's going to just go away completely. I think we just need to continue to try to wrap ourselves around the U.S. farm-raised brand, and that's helped. But again, when you got high prices, it's hard to really push that across to the consumer.
And it's hard to say when this picture may improve for the U.S. catfish industry.
The way it looks right now, it's not going to improve anytime soon. We're going to have to continue to see contraction in that industry. Unfortunately, I think is what's going to happen.
From aquaculture to the pasture and feedlot to close out the markets, there is some question as to whether feeder cattle is a stable market at the moment. Analyst Darren Newsom's take on the situation is that this sector of beef has stabilized.
We're seeing a stronger cash market in the live. That's certainly helping. So, the more we can see some buying coming into the live cattle market, it's going to help the feeder cattle market as well. The big problem is at some point, the issue of reduction of herd size. We're doing away with some of the herd size already. That is hurting, as we talked about, that is hurting feeder demand. So I don't think that's going to go away soon. We're going to see these little pops in the market, but if corn takes off and runs again, I think it's going to be very hard to maintain buying interest in feeders.
We are about out of time for the markets, so here's that trivia answer just ahead of the new feature story. B is the correct choice. 18% of the state's catfish ponds are located in East Mississippi.